Tactical, how did you experience this Go Fest? This
It was.
Hello, welcome to this video. That's going to be some sort of post-Go Fest guide. Go Fest every year is a pretty big event. There's a lot of spawns, and usually it's quite the raid event as well. You may have put a lot of money in or not. And what do you do with all of that? I'm just gonna go through all of the useful stuff you might want to know about everything you got this day. And I combined it with some footage that I took of me doing Go Fest with my community. The content is quite simple. I'm gonna go through all the Ultra Beasts from day 1. I'm gonna go through Necrozma, Dawn, and Dusk forms, and also through Solgaleo, Lunala, and finally the spawns that you have caught or hatched. A quick disclaimer, for Master League, the Pokemon need 15 attack. You can build Master League Pokemon without 15 defense and HP. I will go a little bit deeper into that.
I'm here with T-Goat. T-Goat, you are one of our most fit players. What do you think of Buzzwole? Are you going to build one?
Maybe if I get a hundo.
Do you think it's good?
It's fun.
What is the best fighter for Master League right now?
Best fighter. Still Machamp.
I don't think Machamp is really it right now. Maybe it has some Playmaster Premier, but there are better fighters as of now, including Buzzwole. And these other fighters as well are very viable in Master League. Bug is not an exactly useful typing because there's a lack of like grass and dark type Pokemon in Master League. But what Buzzwole really hangs onto is that Charge Attack Lunge that makes it comparable to like Galvantula and Great League, right? Because it lacks the stats compared to Pokemon like Kyogre, but because you can keep debuffing, the 2-shoot scenarios actually are not that bad. Buzzwole is not really good for Go Battle League if you're looking for success there. It can be quite good in restricted formats when people are underestimating fighting types. Buzzwole is very forgiving in IVs as well. You don't need as much of a high defense or HP. The only thing that could really make a difference is Groudon in the zero shield scenario. You want a high defense and HP combined. Otherwise, you will not survive 2 Fire Punch and then you can knock out with 2 Superpower. And finally, you can have a Buzzwole from Research for Great League. Again, not the best there. It gets destroyed by the Annihilate, but very viable for restricted formats.
Can you flex your muscles real quick? Pretend to be a Buzzwole.
Like the Buzzwole, it's like...
Yes, and then more like this, but very good, very good.
Nihilego. This is the first Ultra Beast introduced to Pokemon Go, so many people already have quite the Excel or have this Pokemon already. It's not really made for Go Battle League, it's really just for restricted formats. In Go Battle League, its main purpose is core breaking Ho-Oh and Fairy type Pokemon. It absolutely annihilates those, but it loses very hard to like Kyogre, Landorus, and Steel types that are all over the place. So if you don't play any restricted formats such as Battle Frontier, you only play Go Battle League, Nihilego might be the Pokemon you can skip out on. Nihilego is really forgiving in its defense and HP. You can have a low defense, you can have a low HP, and I think the only matchup that really changes is like Blaziken, which the Hundo would win. Matchups like Zygarde, Kyogre, Giratina are already not really great matchups. You only win Giratina in the 1-shield, and your defense or HP doesn't really change anything about that. So you can be pretty flexible, just build your best 115 attack for that one.
I'm walking here with a familiar face. His name is Tactical. You can see that I'm clearly taller than him. Tactical, what brought you here today to play Go Fest?
The vibes.
What about the Pokemon?
Tristan is here. That's why I'm here.
What about me?
Jeremy. Nah, I almost considered not going because you're here, but you know, Tristan, Jeremy, Tigo, Dijon, all good guys.
He's always so friendly. Now that you are streaming less, what have you done what are you doing in the place of streaming Pokemon Go now?
Hey, Minecraft every single day, every single hour.
That sounds like a great thing to do.
Great game. It's a great game.
What about Pokemon Go? Do you still like it?
Nah.
Do you still watch my streams?
Nah. Do you stream?
I stream Pokemon Go almost every day.
Okay, that's impressive.
Thank you. Alright, I'm here with Tristan. He has actually built a Hundo Xurkitree. Can you tell us why you did that?
because I love the Pokemon. I think it's such a goofy and fun design, and I got a hundo from a remote raid pass that I got from free research breakthrough, and I was like, I have to max it now that's in raids.
Would you recommend our viewers to build a Xurkitree?
If you're very big into PvE/raiding, you could build it. It's a top tier electric type attacker. Would I recommend it for Master League? Wouldn't say so.
Alright, thank you Tristan for your advice.
Xurkitree is not really great because Thunder Shock charges quickly but does low damage, and Discharge is not a good charge attack really with low efficiency. It has Power Whip and Dazzling Gleam as coverage, which is nice, but it's really more for PvE because it has an insane attack stat, like 25 higher than Mewtwo. Just to put it into perspective, it's only a little bit lower than the regular Deoxys. We have a couple more Ultra Beasts to go through, but I'm gonna skim through these ones real quick because they're not super useful, so it doesn't make a lot of sense to talk too much about them. Starting with Celesteela, this is probably the most usable PvP Pokemon out of these Ultra Beasts for Great and Ultra League, but its moveset currently is cumbersome. It could be one moveset update away from being good because it has the same typing as Skarmory and it has access to Body Slam. Pheromosa and Blacephalon are a little bit similar. They have an extremely high attack, but they also go down to like 1 charge attack in both raids and in PvP, so really not worth your time maxing out. Kartana is usable, but is also very flimsy. It has a unique typing of Grass and Steel, but doesn't do much for it in the Master League meta. It's a pretty good Grass type attacker with Razor Leaf and Leaf Blade and a high attack. It will do good damage, so up to you. This should not be your primary focus though. And then Stakataka is viable for Great and Ultra League, but just really lacks a lot behind Bastion in Great League and behind Aggron in Ultra League with a worse moveset, and in Master League it just lacks stats. Guzzlord is a big one, like literally. It's good for Great League and Ultra League, and for IVs you kind of want to aim for a low attack, a very high defense, and you don't need as much HP as well because Guzzlord on its own already has so much HP. These are some of the matchups that a good Great League Guzzlord can pick up, and they're pretty much all meta. Shadow Gligar in the Zero Shields, Shadow Feraligatr with Ice Beam in the Zero Shields, though Crunch might barely be able to knock it out depending on the Feraligatr IV. Mantine and Shadow Swamp become better in the 1 shields. Feraligatr in the 2 shields, even if they double bait with the Hydro and Land the Ice Beam, you'd still win that, and same with Sableye. You can win with a shield down, which is big. For Ultra League, Guzzlord is a little bit more forgiving. I think the main matchups that you want to pick up here are the Zero Shield scenarios against Deoxys defense, Feraligatr, and Talonflame. All the other ones become a little bit better if you have a slight advantage. That's Toxicroak and Alolan Sandslash. Poliwrath 2 to 0 shield is something, and then Pidgeot in the 2s is a little bit bait dependent on their Feather Dance. So that covers the Ultra League beasts. Now we're gonna have lunch with the group and then look into Marshadow. For lunch, we're going to one of my favorite Japanese restaurants in Rotterdam.
What are you eating today?
I'm eating karage sets.
Is that good?
Very good.
Right, I'm here with, is it Tigo or Tigo?
Tigo.
Tigo, okay. What are you getting today? This is the first time you're eating ramen or curry?
Yes, first time.
Nou, eet smakelijk blijven. Moet je zelf weten. Zeker met rijst is dat echt ongelooflijk wat handig om even topjes te doen. Dus...
Ja, weet IV's? Deze is goed.
Based on stats, Marshadow is the best fighter in Master League right now. It's not bulkier than Annihilate, but it does have the same typing and it has much more attack. It also has a very diverse moveset pool, but it's not exactly better than Annihilate because you lack a Ghost type charge attack. So for that reason, it's a little bit difficult to tell you if your Marshadow is good enough to build. Mine definitely, I would not consider it to be. But to decide for yourself, I will give you some break and bulk points for Marshadow. If you have a low attack on your Marshadow, do not worry, because Marshadow is not very IV dependent when it comes to attack. You can only reach a breakpoint into Snorlax and Zarude, and those are matchups you generally win anyway. Might depend a little bit on moveset as well. And then you also want at least 12 attack to win CMP over Garchomp, but Garchomp is not the most common Pokemon in Master League right now. As for defense, defense still somewhat neglectable. 15 defense gives you a bulk point into Mamoswine, which you win anyway, and Sylveon and Togekiss are matchups you lose anyway. However, a very high defense and HP, such as 14 and 15 combined, does win you Landers in the Zero Shields with Ice Punch. From 13 defense, you will have a bulk point against Rayquaza, Primal Kyogre, and Machamp, while the other two you don't see as much or at all. Rayquaza is actually needed to have a bulk point to win the 2 shields with Ice Punch. At 12 defense, you will pick up a bulk point against a 15 attack Zygarde, but some Zygarde don't really have that, so it might be okay. And you also pick up a bulk point into Mega Aggron, which is a matchup, again, that you win either way. From 11 defense, you'll have a bulk point into Zarude, which is, again, an unwinnable matchup either way. So the way I see it, any Marshadow with 12 attack and 13 defense at about any HP, you might lose a matchup by 1 HP if you have a very low HP Marshadow, but any of those could be very viable. Again, Marshadow has a lot of moves, so it could vary with the moveset that you run. Like without Rock Slide, you might not do as well to 0-0, which makes sense, right?
We're now for day 2. Go fast. I'm here with Tactical. We are raiding Necrozma. We need both Hundos for Dusk and Dawn form, right? And they're good because Dawn form makes like the best sweeper, and Dusk form, like, you don't play right now a lot, so I need to tell you all of this. Yes, you do. And Dusk form is like one of the safe Pokemon because it's a Psychic and Steel type.
Like Solgaleo.
Yeah, are you gonna pick Solgaleo or Lunala from your research?
Can I pick?
Yeah, you can pick.
I will Solgaleo, of course.
Very good, very good.
Dutch Lion, of course.
It's the Dutch Lion.
The new Necrozma. I'm gonna tell you what you need and what you don't need. What you don't need is the regular form because it lacks stats and its charge stacks are too expensive. Now for Necrozma Dusk and Dawn, you kind of do want that hundo. But for people like myself who didn't get a hundo, what is the alternative that you can build? What I usually aim for is 15 attack, 15 defense. That means I deal the maximum amount of damage and take the least amount of damage from everything. The stat that I will sacrifice a little bit on if needed is HP. The reason why is because if you have less HP, sometimes the matchup doesn't change at all for anything based on 1 HP, and sometimes it's a 1 HP loss or win. And if I'm lacking in any other stats, I would prefer not to play the Necrozma in the lead, because if I play it on a safe switch, the matchup becomes a little bit different rather than a 1 HP loss or win. I think that attack and defense are the most important though. I personally think 15 attack is mandatory because you will always lose the mirror otherwise, because you will lose charge stack priority. If you do decide to go for 14, 15, 15, make sure that you never go for charge stack priority. Either use your shields and take a close loss or try to catch on charge stack priority. Dusk main form with 14 defense, 15 attack and 15 HP can work very well still. You'll lose a bulk point against Rhyperior, which will lose you the 1 shields, but furthermore not a lot or anything changes at all. The 15 attack, 15 defense and 14 HP have the exact same matchups. There are no more losses or wins from either one, even though the Hundo does have 1 HP more. The 13 HP has even less HP, but still has about the same matchup. There are some sketchy ones that you may lose, which is against a Zekrom using Wild Charge, but generally it performs equally well as 14 and 15 HP. So just real quick, these are the ranges you can build for Necrozma Dusk main if you didn't get a Hundo, but you got close to one. Dawn Wings is unfortunately not as forgiving. You need 15 defense, otherwise Dragon Breath Origin Palkia will do 1 more damage with Dragon Breath every time, and that means you will lose the 0 shields and lose the entire matchup harder in general. If you don't play grassroots or restricted format tournaments with Necrozma Dawn Wings, just go Battle League, then 14 HP is, in my opinion, also very viable, because the one matchup that you'll lose, which in my opinion can be pretty big for restricted formats, is Gyarados in the 0 shields. But you don't see that really in Open Master League, so in that case, in my opinion, the 14 HP will definitely suffice. So for Dawn Wings, Hundo obviously best. You want 15 defense for the Palkia Origin, bulk point, and lower HP does work, but just for Go Battle League, and also again, if you play them on like the safe switch, not in the lead, they might just perform equally well.
Hi. Everyone has one of those locals who never goes to actual local tournaments. This is ours. He's really good, but he doesn't. He wants to give us a chance. Howie, which Necrozma are you going to build first?
Lunala. The how do you call it?
Dawn form, yeah.
Yeah, Dawn form. Yeah.
Tiro, are you going to pick Lunala or Solgaleo?
Always Solgaleo.
Why?
Because it's a lion and because it's better in Master League.
The Dutch are obsessed with lions.
So, Solgaleo and Lunala. I'm not going to talk about Lunala. This Pokemon is pointless for PvP and it's okay-ish in PvE. Solgaleo used to be one of the best Pokemon for Master League, especially in this XL format, but now with Landorus Therian form having Sandsphere Storm, it's not as good as it used to be. It still has insane stats though, and if you want to build a Solgaleo, you need a lot of defense. It's forgiving in attack, but defense, you need 15 defense to get a bulk point into Kyogre. You need 14 defense to get a bulk point into Gyarados, and those two are pretty big. You also can get a bulk point into Exeggutor, but Mudshells don't add up either way. As for breakpoint, Solgaleo is probably the Pokemon you don't really have to care about. Its breakpoints are in matchups that are either really bad or really good already. And you throw Psychic Fangs the whole time anyway, debuffing them to deal more damage. So not super relevant. I think you can get away with like a 10, 15, 10 or any HP. Solgaleo also can run a variety of attacks with Iron Head, with Flamethrower and Solar Beam, so the matchup might change a little bit. But I think that the Kyogre and Gyarados defense bulk points are probably the most important ones to get.
Alright, Jeremy, who are you actually? Can you introduce yourselves to our viewers?
Yeah, sure. I'm Martijn's best friend. I used to play a lot of Pokemon back in the day, but recently I became a father, so I have less time to play. My in-game name is It's Me Dio.
It's me, Dio.
It's Me Dio.
Mhm.
It's a very legendary name, and yeah, I'm just enjoying my time.
Question, if CCO was here, what would you say to him? Fuck you, Charles.
Maybe. No, he's a good guy, man. He's a good guy. I love him. Ninor,
Okay.
Ninor. Blue X.
Green X.
Going through all the catches from an event is like my least favorite thing to do, but this is the way I do it. I always transfer the 0-star because those usually have the lowest chance of being good. Same for 3-star Pokemon, unless a specific IV spread is good for a specific league. So yeah, I'm just gonna go through League Tug and tell you real quick what I think you can go through and what I think you can also just throw away because it's useless. From the Shining Day, Charizard is viable for Great and Ultra League. You can also build a Hundo for Mass League Mega. Dragonite is good for every league. Dragonite is good for Great League, so very viable. Sunkern is not really that great. Sunflora, I mean. Dunsparce used to be good. It's not right now, but maybe we get the Dunsparce in the future, so you might want to hang on to these. Hisuian, Sneasel. Sneasler is not really that great of a Pokemon, but it's usable. Roserade, same story, just very fragile. Solrock, it's niche. Heliolisk is okay as well for both Great and Ultra League, but very fragile too. Then the Dena is a Great League Pokemon, which has a bad moveset, but could be one moveset away from being good. And Lurantis is also quite decent for Great League. You need a lot of Excel Candy for Ultra League. Kommo and Hakamo are two interesting Pokemon. Hakamo is pretty good in Great League. Kommo a little bit less, and also for Ultra League, but they have an interesting typing in Dragon and Fighting, which most other Pokemon don't have. So I would definitely keep one of those. Corsola, you can build for Great League. It's very bad though, and you need like a lot of Excel Candy. From the Dawn Medal, you might want to check these Pokemon for Great League. Pidgey, you need a Hundo for Ultra League as well. Noctowl is decent, Jumpluff decent, Giraffic for restricted format, Wingle's decent, and you could build a Hundo for Ultra League, though it's kind of niche. Superior is good for Great and Ultra League. Whimsicott is okay for Great League. Ducklet is for Little Cup actually. Ferrothorn you can use for Great League and for Ultra League, though you need quite some Excel there. Axorus has fallen a little bit out of grace, simply because it's very fragile and Breaking Swipe is not as good anymore. Galarian Stunfisk is usable in both Great and Ultra League. You need a Hundo for Ultra League. Eatmore you can throw away, and Imke, Malamar is viable for restricted formats. And then Maractus is not good, neither is Espion. From Darkest Night, Alolan Eradicate is very good in restricted formats. Umbreon also spawns here, which is good. Gligar, I mean, speaks for itself. You see it probably everywhere. Shadow's better than regular, though, in Go Battle League. Weavile, you can probably skip out on. Not very good. Ursaluna is interesting for Master League. It has a very high stat distribution. It's not a great fast attack, but if it gets like Shadow Claw in the future, it will be an absolute meta there. Swampert, very good Pokemon. Get one of those if you don't have one yet. Sharpedo, you can probably throw away. Lunatome's niche. Dino and Zweilous are... Zweilous is very good in Great League, and Hydreigon is decent in Master League. You definitely want one there. Barbaracle is actually really good in some restricted formats, so you do want one in my opinion. Aurorus is decent for Great and Ultra League, but though weak to fighting doesn't really help it a lot, so... you can get one of those. Carbink, you need a lot of Excel, really good for Great League. If you play Great League Remix, you probably faced a couple of those. And then Vullaby is, you can build a Hundo Vullaby for Great League, but you can also build a really good Mandibuzz for Great League, or a Hundo Mandibuzz for Ultra League. For Creeping Dusk, Eevee can go into Umbreon, which also had spawned on instance during this event. Ariados is decent for Great League. Then Garchomp is viable for all leagues, but mostly for Master League. Scolipede is okay for Great League, mostly in restricted formats. Same for Emolga, quite fragile. I would say it's on par with Zapdos right now. Acrobatics is nice, but Discharge is just a bad charge stack on Emolga. Chandler, pretty decent for raids and for it's okay for Master League often. Golurk, not that great. Neither is Durant and Asper. Trevenant is an absolute staple in Great and Ultra League. You definitely want to get one of those. And Chargebug, obviously, for Grey League. If you don't have one yet, you should get one now. Then Lycanroc, I believe only Night form is quite decent with counter, but also only really niche.
So Tactical, how did you experience this Go Fest this
It was a lot of fun hanging out with the guys. Yes.
Very good to hear. When is the next time we're going to see you?
Next Go Fest.
That's next season, by the way. Do you have anything you want to say to our viewers and your fans?
Enjoy your life.
Wise words. All right, Tristan, how did your Go Fest go for you?
Pretty well. My main goal was getting the Hundo Necrozma, and I got not one, not two, but three of them. So I'm pretty satisfied.
Must be nice to get those Hundos. Yeah, look at that. That's pretty crazy. You got all three of them. Congratulations. When is the next time we're going to see you?
At the locals.
I will be there. That was our Go Fest for this weekend and for this year. Thank you for watching and see you in the next video.